Okay, so I've been wanting to do a jerky video for a long time now, and finally gonna do it. Show you guys my recipe and what I use. For starters, we'll start off with the ingredients. Soy sauce, that'll be a 1/4 cup of that. Tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. A 1/4 teaspoon for the rest of these. Crushed black pepper, onion powder, and garlic powder. The recipe doesn't call for it, but I like to put a tablespoon of whiskey. Maker's Mark or Jameson is what I use usually. And it seems to make a big difference. I don't know why, but I just tried it one time and haven't stopped. This has been defrosting in the fridge for a day or so. This is a roast from the deer that I harvested this year. So roasts are good just because it's going to be a big piece of meat and you can get good cuts on it, good even cuts. I think this is called a jerky board. I got it on Amazon. It was like $30. I just slides a knife in here and cuts the meat thin. And personally, for me, the thinner the better as far as jerky goes. But this is a great recipe for deer and goose as well. I really like this one for goose. It seems to, I don't know, taste really well. Anyways, we'll get into it. Alright, so I like to start with the liquids first, obviously, so we can dissolve any of the seasonings. Start with a 1/4 cup soy sauce. I think the recipe calls for about 1.5 pounds of meat for this, but I do it for less or even more. I just coat it in it. And a lot of the times people like to let it sit overnight, but personally I just like to coat it so it doesn't get over salted or over seasoned. So there's the soy sauce. Tablespoon of Worcestershire. Tablespoon of whiskey. 1/4 teaspoon. Garlic powder, onion powder, and then crushed black pepper. So I'll just crush it up in my hand and dump approximate in there. That's about right. Maybe a little more. There's the brine. It's not much, but like I said, I don't like to over season it. So I'll start off with the defrosted roast. And if you don't have one of these jerky boards, you can partially thaw out your meat, whatever meat you're using, and it'll help a lot. It'll be hard enough to where you can cut it thin and it won't be all squishy and uneven. So I've butchered, packaged this deer myself this year. The first year I did it, I was pretty happy with it. I think I'll do it again for my next one. There it is, big slab of meat there. So this recipe I have, I've been using it for years, and I used to do it in the oven, and I'll put a picture up of the recipe so you guys can get it if you'd like. But now I use a big Chief smoker, electric smoker. So how this guy works is you got it comes with 2 different cutting board, basically plastic, so you can get a different depth for whatever thickness of jerky you want to have. But it wasn't thin enough for what I like, so I butchered up just a cheap cutting board that we had, and it seems to be good. Alright, so if you kind of push down on the meat, you get a more even cut. Like that. It's a little thick even for what I like for jerky, but it's close enough. So you want to go with the grain of the meat whenever you're cutting. So I would cut this way versus this way. If you cut this way, it kind of just falls apart and doesn't look very good, and I don't know, it's harder to cut that way. Always go with the grain. And any fat that you have on the meat, you want to cut off just for jerky purposes. It doesn't dry out very well. And if you can help it, any of the silver skin that you have, it doesn't dry out very well either. Just kind of shrinks up and it's real chewy. Like I said, the thinner the better when it comes to jerky. And if you apply an even pressure on it and watch your hands and fingers, you can get it pretty thin. Okay, so as you can see, there's quite a bit of the brine in there. So we're just gonna just make sure that it covers all the meat. Gonna mix it up a little. You just want to make sure that everything is covered, all the meat, so you get those flavors in there. And if you were doing this in the oven, you would add liquid smoke as well. I don't remember how much, but maybe a tablespoon or so. But since I'm doing it in an electric smoker, that the smoke chips will give it that smoky flavor. Alright, that's pretty good. So either you can let that sit overnight and let it really soak in those flavors, or you can wait an hour and then put it on the smoker, or even 15 minutes sometimes I do. You really don't need much for it, but I'm gonna do this one overnight just because I haven't done it overnight before, I don't think, and if I have, it's been a really long time, so I'm gonna try it out overnight and see what it does for the flavors. Alright, it's the next day. Our jerky's been brining. Our meat's been brining. There it is. We're going to put it in the smoker now. I like to have a couple paper towels to soak up any excess of the brine. I don't like it to have too much brine on it. Alright, pop it in the smoker. Just gonna get one piece at a time and kind of pat it off, get any of the excess. I'm just gonna spread it out on the racks evenly. This is gonna smoke for quite a while. I'd say probably 6 hours. So with jerky you get about 1/3 of the weight of whatever you start with. So say we started with 1.5 pounds, we're only going to have half a pound whenever this is all dried up and done. Got one done, just pop it in there. So the ones at the racks at the bottom are going to dry faster than the ones at the top, obviously. So it helps to rotate maybe halfway in between with the ones on top at the bottom. Alright, that's the last one. Close her up. Grab some wood chips. This is just personal preference, but I like to use the cherry chips when I'm smoking. And I only do 1 pan's worth, so once this pan runs out, I don't add more. There we are, ready to be smoked. Alright, so now I'm going to put this outside and let it smoke for probably 6 hours. I'll put a timer so you know. Alright, the jerky's been in there for about 5 hours, roughly. So we're gonna check it. I've already flipped it over once. That's looking pretty dang good. I like it to be flexible to where it's like not gonna just crack when you would do that, but not too soft either. I mean, you can feel it if it's real soft. You want it to be dry all the way through. But that would be a good piece of jerky right there. Alright, thanks for watching.